Hey guys, this is Andy, and I am with Peter Nielsen, who is an amazing guy. He's a life coach. I'm just gonna let me just read you a little bit about his bio, and then we're gonna get into it. By the way, thank you for being here, Peter. Thank you everybody else for watching.
My
God bless
pleasure.
everybody. Here we go. So this is about Peter from his website. About me, I've dedicated my life to helping millions of people around the world become the best version of themselves through my health and wellness principles. After surviving two near death experiences related to Crohn's disease, I refused to give up. I won 50 bodybuilding titles, including Mr. International Universe. I then decided I wanted to share my knowledge with the world and created and hosted my syndicated TV and radio shows, Peter's Principles. I'm excited about my new TV show, which airs on Discovery Life Network every Friday from 7 a.m. to 7:30 Eastern Time. Now, I've actually had a chance to meet Peter in Houston at a conference one time, and he is an amazing guy. And of course, I've listened to him live in person at that conference. I've listened to him several times and interacted on videos. I've actually been in one of his challenges. And so this is going to work right in with the challenge that I'm putting together. You may or may not know about it. I'm going to just remind everybody I've got a 30-day get better, get healthier challenge that we're filling the group right now. And then we're going to start on January 4th, and we're going to run it for 30 days. And it's not going to be just about losing 5, 10, 15, 100 pounds. It's going to be about changing your mindset. It's going to be about getting better nutrition. It's going to be about getting active. And if you want to lose weight, we're going to help you do that. We're also going to talk about other things like water, how important that is, and how important motion is, whether you're working out or just getting your butt off the $100 million couch, right? Okay. So Peter, if you will, just tell us a little bit about you, please, and then I'm going to ask you a few questions after that, and we will go until you're ready to stop or whatever you want to do.
You got it. Well, it's my pleasure to be with all of you, and I wish each and every one of you a wonderful 2021. And I think that we all are who we are from what we've been through, and all the growth is definitely in the valley. It's not on the mountaintops. And I was born with an incurable condition called Crohn's disease that really wanted to take me out in two different times. I've had resections of my intestines. I have 3 feet less than most people of my small intestines, the ileum. The last time I went into septic shock, right in front of my daughters, a hole perforated in my ileum. And, not once, not twice, but 3 times they put defibrillators on me when I was gone. And that was March 7th, 2001 at 2:14 in the morning, where they pronounced me that I was gone. And everything happens for a reason. There are no coincidences. And the gentleman who was doing the surgery was my dearest best friend. And I was supposed to be celebrating a birthday in Key Biscayne, but instead I was in a Detroit hospital, and my family called this doctor to meet as the ambulance was taking me. And if it wasn't for God's grace and mercy and this man who worked on me for 8.5 hours, he refused to give up. And that's what I want to talk about this evening today, about just so many people, so many circumstances, I call them invisible obstacles, will get in the way. And what we need to do is we need to believe again. We need to get out of our own way, and we need to move forward. But all the dots are connected. And when I think about all the hopeless moments in my life, from being in an abusive situation with my dad when I was very young and sick. I was diagnosed at 15 with Crohn's disease. I went from 135 pounds down to 86 pounds. And I always say fear channeled wrong turns into a secondhand emotion called anger. No one wants to get angry or hit, but sometimes the unknown freaks us out and we do ridiculous things. And my dad, under the influence of alcohol, became very abusive. And one of the last experiences was him trying to take my mom out, and me went against him. And I love the man more than the oxygen I was breathing, but I was able to get him away from her. But then he broke my collarbone in 3 places and gave me 6 stitches over my eye. The reason why I say that is I was in a hopeless situation. And now when people ask me what I do for a living, I'm in the hope business. So if we truly get out of our own way and allow God to be God, he will always allow us to teach what we've always wanted to learn. So for everyone that's watching, knowledge implemented correctly is so very powerful. So making small little changes is important. Everyone wants change, but if you don't change, nothing changes. You go around that same block 400 times. And until you're tired of being tired, until you realize that the person that you need to change is the person you're looking at in the mirror, you will continue that insanity. So I'm just excited to have my health back. I'm excited on the platforms that God has entrusted me with. And I love what I do. And I definitely live with purpose. And I want to share that for a few minutes today with your viewers, your friends, your group.
Okay. Well, I do want to say, and I know you already know this, but when you were in the hospital and you were pronounced dead and your people were working on you, it's clear, especially looking back, hindsight 2020, even though this is the year 2020, it's clear that God wasn't done with you yet.
Amen.
So,
Amen.
okay, well, man, share your heart with us, please. Go ahead.
You know, and it's like what you just said. So many people during this crazy year, and we're ending it momentarily, going into a new year. We have 2 choices. We could leave 2020 learning nothing, getting jaded, desensitized, a hardened heart, and be exactly where God first found you. And when you isolate the way we did, it was the recipe for a perfect storm for many of us. I love to spend my alone time with God, but when you spend too much isolation, it creates anxiety, darkness, division. It's the perfect playing ground for addiction, especially for people that were fighting addiction, and addiction was in a dormant state for years and years. Or you can have the other choice, because it's a choice. Happiness is a choice, it's not a chance. You could have the other choice. What I chose was to have a softer heart, to learn, to be excited about the rest of my life. Sometimes, just sometimes, maybe God wanted us to undo what we were supposed to. Maybe we were supposed to get off that exit 14 exits ago. Maybe we were supposed to be on this other path. And for all of you that are listening, just maybe today is the day that you're realizing, and you should realize, you're on the path that you're supposed to be on. And it's a beautiful, liberating thing to know that we serve a very faithful God. And all I know is that I choose to walk out of this with a softer heart, to take care of the one model year that I've been given at birth, my temple, my body. It carries my soul. I choose to make better choices at the breakfast, lunch, and dinner table. I choose to truly live with purpose instead of aimlessly just not knowing where I'm going. See, we all have the availability. We all have the goods. We were all born with greatness, with a heart, with determination, with dreams. And then life threw us an uppercut and we're in abyss. And all I can say to each and every one of you is choose to walk into 2020. Leave the junk behind, get the chip off your shoulder, start from scratch. You got this clean canvas, you got fresh paint in your hands, and make a masterpiece. That's what I challenge each and every one of you.
Man, those are great words. So you've said it several times, and it's something that's been resounding in my heart, at least over the last 6 months. And people ask me, Andy, how did you lose your weight? Andy, how did you change your mindset? Andy, how are you getting better? Andy, they're asking me all kinds of different questions because my life has changed. And honestly, my first answer is I made a decision. And you hit that just now. Make a decision. And that's what I did. I made a decision. So, Peter, let me go back. So you've got this incurable disease, and you found out even at a very young age, teenager, 20s, you found out then that you couldn't eat what everybody else ate. You had to change what went into your body. Can you talk about that for just a little bit?
It's a great question, and it leads to what God put in my heart to speak to all of you about is, Crohn's disease is an autoimmune condition. So my autoimmune system, if it doesn't recognize a certain food or liquid or smell, it will then go into overdrive. And then it will start feeding on itself, and it will start literally making ulcerations in the intestines, or the stomach, or the colon. And so I have a lactose intolerance to dairy products. I haven't had red meat for 35 years. I haven't had dairy products for 40 years. And the word of this week for each and every one of you should be preparation. I've won 50 bodybuilding titles, and I actually have one of my last World Cup right here. And it's just a piece of metal. I rose this trophy over my head with victory, and it took maybe 5 minutes on stage, but it took me decades of preparing, of eating right, of getting my mind out of the gutter and getting a mind shift. It took me decades of exercising when I didn't want to, of putting in the sweat equity. I'll give you a quick analogy story. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. In Belmont, there was a racetrack. And I come from a very modest, lower middle class family. Didn't know I was poor until I left New York City. But every Sunday in Belmont, they had a race. And I remember there was about 15 horses. They were all thoroughbreds. So they were all equal. But there was this one horse called Secretariat. And they actually made a movie of this horse. And the horse is a legend. And I was wondering why every Sunday when my mom and dad would rip off pieces of paper and we would all have numbers on it. And it was for one of the horses. And then we would put pennies or nickels, and whoever won, we won some change. And it was a big thing in my Italian family. But every single race, Secretariat won. And then it went to win the Triple Crown, and it won all the championships, the Kentucky Derby, all of them. And when I studied Secretariat and I read this horse's biography, This horse was laser focused. This horse had the best trainer. This horse methodically ate. This horse was loved. This horse believed that he was a champion. See, because when you believe something, you actually embody it. And when you embody it, you become it. So how many people do you know, maybe yourself today, that you've been praying and hoping and dreaming for something or somebody your entire life? It could be to be healed. It could be to meet the love of your life. It could be to own your own business or to be in the best shape of your life. See, God has a delivery date for that dream. And if you're not prepared, it will literally, like a touchdown pass, a winning game pass, it will fall through your hands. You will miss the blessing. So all I can say to each and every one of you is it's not by coincidence. Nothing's by coincidence. And when people get to know me, and if people say, wow, Peter, you live in a really amazing life and you're a lucky guy. With all due respect, luck has got this much to do with it. You need to put in the preparation. You need to put in the sweat equity. You need to sacrifice. You need to want it so bad that you can taste it. And you need to truly have him as your partner. Because see, everything, all of our steps are basically guided. They're all ordained for our destiny. But we have this little thing called free will. And we could do it our way. And we could go around that same mountain again. And then we can have, my analogy of that is having God at the front of that mountain saying, you silly boy, I love you. I'll be here when you get back. And then you make that journey all over again. And all I can say to each and every one of you is as you're going into 2021, get real. We are all running out of runway. All of us. We all have expiration dates. Let this year be the best year ever. Get the pity, get the anger, get the disappointment, step on it, cry about it, learn from it, then move forward. Because I have had more disappointments in my life, but I start my day with one single thing, and it's called gratitude. There is no way, it's an oxymoron. There's no way you could have anxiety. There's no way you can be depressed. There's no way you can be ticked off when you have gratitude in your mind at the same time. It's impossible. So every morning for the last 45 years, regardless if the walls are collapsing beside me, I get up and I thank God if I don't have pain that day. I got a roof over my head. I got two beautifully healthy daughters. I got a career that's bigger than me, that God has blessed me and entrusted me with the platforms. When you do that, part of your preparation is you need to truly see it. If I didn't see myself healed, if I didn't see myself as a champion, lifting up one of my trophies, I couldn't do it. And then the next thing you need to do is you need to speak it. See, words create life or death. So I don't want to hear, I can't do this challenge. I don't want to hear, I can't lose weight. I don't want to hear, I can't make it because I have an addiction. I want to hear I'm victorious. I'm a winner. I'm one of a kind. I'm a masterpiece. I am going to have the best year of my life. Because see, what you focus on this morning is how you live today. What you speak today is what you prophesize, good or bad, tomorrow. So if you're not having a good month, look at the person in the mirror. Listen to the toxicity that's coming out of your mouth that you're spreading to other people. And all I can say is to put a period at the end of that sentence is that if you're married, if you're trying to build a team, if you're working out with somebody, don't, excuse my expression, don't vomit on them with words of pity or words of anger or complaining and complaining and complaining, because guess what? They may love you, they'll pray for you, but they don't want to hear that, because slowly but surely you're chipping away their heart. So if you truly want to build that team, if you truly want to be that best version of yourself, speak it, believe it, so other people will believe in you.
Man, those are great words. Oh my goodness. Wow. So, Peter, for the last, 3 months, I've been talking about gratitude and affirmations and speaking, and you're hitting home. Have you been reading my mail? So I want to ask you just a couple of questions that have to do with nutrition and everything else, because oh my, we could just stop right here because that was some great stuff. All right. There is a quote going out, and I have, after reading it and then researching it, there is a quote going out that says, getting healthier, being healthy, having success in bodybuilding, all that kind of stuff is 80% nutrition and 20% exercise. Do you agree with that?
Well, what I say, whether it's on stage or in my books, is 60 to 70% of how you look and how you feel has to do with what you put in this little circle called your mouth. And then the rest of it obviously has to do with exercise. Give you a real quick analogy. Years ago, they took 2 Mr. Americas, and for 1 year, they basically, one person just went haywire. He basically ate anything he wanted, and he exercised every day, didn't miss a workout. The other person the other Mr. America did not exercise, but he was meticulous at the breakfast, lunch, and dinner table. Guess which one looked the best, almost contest ready, believe it or not, the person who ate meticulous and didn't exercise versus the person who was working out 2 hours a day, but was eating fast foods and just junk on top of junk. So nutrition is king. It's so very important to know that. Yeah.
Good answer. Good answer. All right. Next question. If I am going to work out and I only have 30 minutes, so I want to do whole body because it does the most for me in one bang, how often in a week can I do a whole body exercise?
Great question. And it's a pretty simple a way to determine that. For someone that doesn't have a year and a half of strength training experience under their belt, man or woman, young or old, they should start out with a full body workout. Each muscle group should have 2 exercises. Each exercise should be 3 sets, 10 repetitions. They should do it every other day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. 3 full body workouts out of 7 days in 1 week.
Wow, man, that's great information. Okay, so let's real quick talk about meal plans. Since we've talked about nutrition, how important is it, do you think, to pre-plan your meals that you're going to eat, to make a menu, if you want to say that, for your meals? And do you do it for all 3 of the meals a day, for all 5 of your meals in a day?
Good question.
Dinner?
Yeah, one of my national TV shows, I just did meal prepping and macronutrient meal plans. And the short answer is every Sunday, I'll cook a bunch of stuff and then put them in containers, because whether, pre-pandemic, I would be traveling every week. So whether I'm being driven around on a plane, in my own car, I want to be able to feed the machine. If you don't give your body enough protein, for example, you're going to go into a catabolic standpoint. You're going to atrophy. So your body can only utilize about 4 ounces of animal flesh, whether it's salmon or chicken or beef, which is about 30 grams of protein. Anything more than 30 to 40 grams of protein within a 2.5 hour period of time is going to be stored as fat. So again, preparation, if you're preparing yourself to succeed, part of that is meal prepping. And you should really just get into it. You know, I have a journal that I basically journal all my eating. I also do it on an app. But when you just write it down, it makes a lot of sense. I do grocery shopping a certain day so that I'm setting myself up to succeed. Clean the cupboards. I mean, it's like, oh my Lordy. It's like so many people are asking Peter, you know, I love chocolate. I love ice cream. I love sweet potato fries. I'm like, okay, so do I, but I don't have them in my house. Well, my kids love them. Time out. Are you the leader of your house?
Ooh.
Are you living by example, or are you just talking it? So you're talking from both sides of your mouth when you're wanting to do it, but then Johnny or, you know, Andrea is eating, you know, Cocoa Pebbles, and, you know, then they're getting a little overweight. The point is simple. My children didn't know that eggs were yellow because we had egg whites. My children never tasted a pork hot dog, probably until they were married, because they always thought that hot dogs were vegan, that were soy dogs, or that were turkey dogs. My children never had red meat other than bison or ostrich, because the artery clogging heart attack on a plate, saturated fat is in your beef. Is cholesterol and saturated fat is in your dairy, and they're both irritants. I mean, I could talk until the cows jump over the moon about nutrition. So meal prepping is so important. And then lastly, you need to know how many calories that you are supposed to be eating. You can't just like helter skelter this. And you need to really invest in learning about a macronutrient meal plan. And macronutrients are carbohydrates, are your protein, are your fat. So out of that pie, you know, you should have 30% of your total calories coming from protein. No more than 30 grams of protein within a 2.5 hour period of time. Anything more is stored as fat. Carbohydrates, 45% of your total calories in a day should be coming from carbs, mostly fibrous, complex carbohydrates, your colorful vegetables. No more than 75 grams or 300 calories of carbs in a 90-minute period of time. Anything more is stored as fat. And lastly, no more than 25% of your total calories should be coming from fat. And most of that fat should be mono or poly unsaturated fat, which is coming from your salmon with omega-3 essential fatty acids, your triple virgin olive oil, your avocados, your nuts, etc. But, you know, fitness doesn't just happen. If it did, everybody would be Mr. or Mrs. Universe. And to be honest with you, I get a kick out of trying to put plastic surgery and surgeons out of business, because I don't believe in shortcuts. For every purchase in life, there's a cost. And all I can say is that how bad do you want it? Do you want it? If you want it, it's there for the takings, but you got to go get it. No one's going to eat for you. No one's going to train for you. And, you know, I mean, I'm just being real, but at the end of the day, it's you against you.
Man, that's some great information. And you went right into the macros. I was going to ask you specifically about that. Some people are confused about it. I think you just straightened all of that out. Well, Peter, thank you so much for talking
Oh,
with me
my
tonight.
pleasure.
And I'm just want to make sure that I'm not making a mistake here by telling everybody that once we start our challenge on January 4th, that you'll join us a couple of times after that.
Yeah, you invite me, and you know, I will make time to come and say hello and to contribute to their success.
Man, thank you so much for that. Well, listen, I'm going to get off the phone because I know that you've got a busy evening and I'm going to go spend a little bit of time with my family. So thank you so much. I pray that you are blessed. I pray that 2021 is going to be your most exciting, most, I don't know, profitable, most joyous, most blessed year that you've ever had in your life.
Thank you, and to your family and to everyone that's watching. You know, I believe in you, and the most important thing that we need to have is our health, and we cannot live a purpose-filled life unhealthy. So God bless each and every one of you, and Happy New Year.
All right. Talk to you later. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.